Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sam, and I am I am breaking down for you how I get my tone, how I get my sound. So we're gonna start from the top, and then we're gonna go to the bottom. So the first thing in our chain is the guitar. So all of my guitars have low to medium output pickups. I don't have any pickups that are crazy high output. The reason is I love guitars that really can produce a beautiful clarity and definition to each note, whether you're playing chords or lead lines or single note phrases, whatever. I want that clarity and the definition, and that's why, to me, I think low and mid-range output pickups do that very well. Next up in the chain, number 2 is my amp or amps. I'm running stereo. So the first amps on the left side is my Goodsell Super 17 Mark IV. Phenomenal amp. We have gear breakdowns and we can show you what that sounds like and all that kind of stuff. Love it. Phenomenal. The next amp, my right side, is the Kemper, and I'm running Brian Carl's British Clean amp. And I turned off all the effects. No compressor, no shaper, no overdrives, nothing. It's just the clean profile. They sound great together. And I'm going to show you right now what they sound like. Ready? Here it goes. So as you can tell, it's super clean tone. I'm not on the edge of breakup. I'm actually below it. So even if I drive real hard, I'm not going to get a ton of breakup. I mean, I have to dig in to get some breakup, so like... That's not a ton at all, but if I really dig in, I get a little bit. And so that's where my overdrives come into play. So I have a stage 1, a stage 2, and a stage 3 overdrive. So let's look at my stage 1. So my stage 1, if you look here at my board, is a Emerson Custom M Drive. And the thing I love about this pedal is that it adds a bass boost almost to your sound. It adds a bottom end presence that wasn't there before, and it almost cuts off a little bit of your top end. So for me, I use this a lot for single note lines, and I'll use it for if I'm playing rhythm, just to give a little bit more body to the chords I'm playing. So if I were to play a lead line, let's do something simple like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So nothing wrong with that. But if I turn my M drive on, you're going to hear a little bit more body. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's not a ton of gain, but it does add more body and more presence. And so the same thing happens if I'm playing a rhythm part. So if I'm playing something like this right here. So... and then I add the M drive. Here you go. So it just adds a little bit more bottom end and tightens it up a little bit. I think there's a good bit of compression that comes from that pedal as well. So let's move on to my stage 2. So stage 2 for me is a Morning Glory V3. I don't really know the big difference in all the different versions, but I have a V3 and I love it. So I use this for really, it's my stage 2, but I use it for really my first level of grit that I'm going to add. It's not body, it's just I'm adding some overdrive / distortion with this. So if I play a lead line, let's think of one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can tell, that's a whole lot grittier than my normal clean tone, so if I were to turn it off. So you can tell there's a big difference. And I turn my tone down because I don't want my lead lines to get shrill. Because when they get shrill, it really starts to wear people's ears out. So that's my stage 2. And I will stack those when I want to have, you know, a heavier body and lower end, you know, tighter compact sound. And then my last drive in my section, or my drive section, is the Prism. And so I'm similar to Jack in this regard. I run it in my high gain setting, and it's in preamp style on the right side. It's in the amp setting. So I'm just pushing the breakup that my amp will cause naturally. So I use this on the song King of My Heart. So on the bridge, this is when I use that part. So clean, you know. And now if I turn the Prism on, here you go, 3, 4. So it's killer, and it sustains like crazy. So those are my 3 drives. And I'll say this too, I don't use my drive to shape my tone. Instead, I'm using them to push my amp to do different things. Everything that I do comes from a great clean sound, because like I said, I'm looking for clarity, I'm looking for definition, I'm looking for each note to ring out, and for people to be able to identify what I'm playing. And for me, I feel like Clean Tone really does that and captures that well. So this is how I get my sound, my bass line. This is how I build everything that I come from. It's right here. So don't overwork yourself, but figure out what works for you. Try my approach, try Jack's approach. Do a marriage of both of them, whatever works. We want you guys to find your tone, and we are still on the journey with you. So as always, appreciate you guys.